I do, mate. You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yourself?
you're really in isolation mode with the hoodie, the curtains drawn in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like peaks and troughs of going outside? Yeah, I'll go outside today.
Yeah. We've got pretty good sunlight. It's pretty warm outside actually.
Yeah, it's
My
quite warm
AC's
here as well.
my AC's like on full blast, so that's why I'm in a hoodie. Otherwise, I'd be in a t-shirt and shorts.
Oh,
But
I see.
yeah.
Hello.
All right.
Hi, Michael. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I was just admiring your DVD and Blu-ray collection.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the horror, so I'm like Dawn of the Dead's right to the front. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, so I figured I should put it front and center or front and side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, firstly, thank you very much for being on this episode. So, if you could introduce.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
you're
thank
welcome.
you very much for having us.
It was a fun idea starting the podcast alongside the festival because we wanted to give. It wasn't just we'll accept your films, maybe there's some awards or whatever. We didn't just want that. We wanted to kind of give everyone a real voice because sometimes those voices can disappear amongst all the entries, especially the festival you've been part of in Canada, because that's been massive.
It was huge.
Yeah. So, how did you two go? Can you just introduce yourselves to the people watching?
Yeah, Tim, you go first.
Sure. Yeah. I'm Timothy. I'm an actor in Toronto, Ontario. I also dabble in music theater as well as tap dancing.
And I'm Michael Chan. I'm also an actor from Toronto, Ontario. I've been doing this for 14 years, so a bit of a veteran.
Yeah, so welcome, and it's really nice to speak to you guys because your film has been a big hit with the people that have seen it. We've just had like a founders meeting, as we call it. It's like something from Altered Carbon because there's a whole thing about founders. But so we had a little screening of a few films, and we do this every other day because we've had quite a lot of submissions, even though our festival is quite small. We've had almost 100 films now, and we've got there's no sponsorship, there's no big backers, there's nothing. There's just me and a couple of other people. So it's we've had absolutely fantastic submissions, and the amount of films we've had from Canada, especially, has been absolutely wonderful. But you guys have joined a really that we kind of want to build a community and get people talking to each other, and we're going to share contacts and that in the future.
Sure.
So we've had submissions from all over the world now, from Australia, New Zealand, Israel, Russia, South America, UK, Canada, US. It's all over now, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then we like to, when your episode comes out, because I think we shot 22 now, and we're just kind of drip feeding them, so to speak, because we want to give filmmakers a voice past the point of the festival as well, because we kind of don't want that to dip. So that's why we've invited you guys on and to talk about your great film Switch.
Thank you.
So how long have you two guys known each other, and how did you start kind of acting?
Tim, did we met on Dwight's table read, right?
No, actually, I think I met you because I saw you at an audition, and I think I had heard that we had the same agent or something like that, and then
I
was like, oh, let me add him on Facebook, and then I added you, and then we just started we just chatted, and then we finally were on set for Pandoodle's short.
Right. So as is the case of a lot of the actors I know, at least, I tend to bump into people in audition rooms, but you don't really talk in audition rooms very much. So yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, did I meet you in an audition room, or did I meet you on something? Because Timothy and I actually were part of a table read for somebody's script. So that's where we kind of spoke a little more. But now that now that you've reminded me, we did actually meet in an audition room when we still had the same agent.
Oh, that's very cool. So you were talking about those audition rooms and you don't really talk. Is that because you're so focused on prepping to go into the meeting, or for the audition, or is it like a competitive thing?
No, well, first of all, like you don't want to be too loud because they are, recording the auditions in the room. So when you're outside waiting to go in, you don't want your voices to be so loud that it disturbs or interrupts the auditions that are happening. But secondly, yeah, like it's a matter of respect. Everyone has their own process in terms of how they get ready for their auditions. So, if you're like just chatting away, you might be interrupting someone's process of getting ready. So actors tend not to really chatter too much, trying to keep the volume down so everyone has a chance to, kind of be in their own heads with the scripts.
Can you talk about that group you mentioned earlier? What is it? Pandoodles?
Pandoodles.
Yeah. Can you tell me how that started? Because it's such a wonderful. What we've realized before I kind of ask the real question is we want to give everyone a chance, an equal opportunity to make films, and there was we didn't want to just. Initially, it was between me and one other person. We were going to create content, send it to each other, and that's going to fill our time outside of work because we both work in the same place. And I thought, right, let's open up to everyone. And what we realized is it wasn't just about, let's just get some cool films and stick them up online. It was real stories from real people from around the world and how they're, in some cases, fighting adversity in the cities they're in, to a 10-year-old doing a stop animation, So we've had real kind of cross-section of people around the world. And that's what I'm most proud of, is that we're having people telling real stories. And obviously, if you make a comedy, that's great. But so when I noticed, what was it called?
Pandoodles.
Yeah, it was such a wonderful idea. Can you tell me a little bit about that, and how did that come about, and what's it all about?
Yeah, so Pandoodles was actually started with just us as a group, just an Asian core group, more so for just like having an outlet for us like people of color and Asians especially, to have an outlet to perform and to make shorts and skits and whatnot. And it was started by a group of us, and then it kind of just dwindled down. People took different leaderships. People left the group. People came on to take different roles. And and we're a small group, but we also invite other people. And now we've become a bigger core group of people. And we've got writers, we've got producers, we've got directors, people that take on different roles, aspects of the thing. And we the name Pandoodles was kind of like panda and doodles, and like it was to signify more of like our Asian, but we didn't want it to be Asian centric, but we also wanted it to have that kind of feel, because initially it was more so like, Wong Fu Productions on YouTube was doing a thing, and they got pretty big. And so we're like, hey, like they're American, why don't we try something that's Canadian, but also be like, and not just like focusing on Asian stories, but like let's also work on other things that's unique. And so we found a niche where it was kind of like skits at first, like comedy skits, but then
I saw the one chasing through the warehouse. That one was really good.
Yeah. So that was me and a buddy of mine, Willix, and people oftentimes get us mixed up.
Yeah.
Just because we're two tall Asian guys that can grow facial hair, and if I take off my glasses, like we could technically kind of look similar. Right. And so the long running joke is that because we look so similar that they can't tell us apart. Right.
Yeah.
So we did a skit like that, but the more focus for Pandoodles is now like horror shorts.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so that's big fan. Yeah. So is it
that's
like
kind of like their?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna end up by saying like that's kind of their niche now. So
Superb.
Although they're heading into season 2, and
yeah.
they're going to add more comedy sketches to the rotation while still doing the horror.
Or
Yeah, superb. So what kind of influence do you think will be in the horror content going forward?
I think Michael, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say one thing I know that they already started doing, but they're going to continue is if you go on Reddit, there's a subreddit called, I think it's No Sleep. And so it's like these little small short stories that are all horror. And I know they've been approaching different authors trying to get permission to turn their short stories into pandoodles.
That's superb idea, yeah.
Yeah, I also know that they have a few other shorts that they haven't released, although I can't really say much about it.
That's fair, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah,
initially,
so I was just going to say, I was going to pay you guys a big compliment, because I think it's nice to have a community, and then especially a similar ilk in terms of the filmmaking point of view, because it's extremely difficult making anything, especially when it's, there's only so much you can do on your own when it comes to a film.
Yeah.
So having a community of filmmakers that you can work together with, it's something really nice about that.
Yeah,
So,
Michael came up with the idea to be like, hey, like let's submit for the isolation shorts. I had actually never heard of a festival like that. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do during this off time? And then Michael just reached out and was like, hey, let's collaborate. And I was like, okay, always down.
I first heard about the Canadian Isolation Short Film Festival because Jessica Martins is the owner of the agency that I'm with. And she actually started a nonprofit called Stay at Home Heroes during the pandemic. And she and Stephen Mann, who is the founder of the festival, kind of joined forces to expand the festival. And they made an announcement that, yeah, we're taking submissions for films that are 3 minutes or less. And just like Tim, I was sitting there going, man, what am I going to do during this, while I'm at home? Because like, I'm not really auditioning all that much nowadays. And, my Joe job, I'm not doing as much there either. So I'm like, you know what? I haven't attempted making a film in almost a decade. Last time it was a disaster, but hey, I have time. So, hey, Tim, want to make a film?
Yeah.
So in a strange way, it's not, obviously time's a big thing when it comes to making anything, especially a film or something you need to write. And do you think that the time we're living in over the last 7 to 8 weeks, do you think it's given you guys and a lot of other filmmakers almost more focus as well?
In a way, I feel that it's allowed some people to have the time to concentrate their efforts on writing, let's say, on producing content. And at least in my case, it allowed me to explore an area of my artistry that I basically abandoned a decade ago. So, mind you, when Tim and I first made our film, the deadline for the festival was a lot earlier. So the original festival was supposed to be in April. So we actually rushed everything to submit our film for the original deadline. And then once we submitted it, we're like, haha, we're a few days early.
Yeah.
And then they extended it. We're like, ah.
Yeah, that's we debated for a while whether to extend it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't based on any particular reason. We thought, no, we'll give everyone a clear deadline, because we all work well. When deadline goalposts are shifted, then it's a real pain. And
it is, but what we've seen, especially now that the festival has happened and we've seen the top 50 films, a lot of people with that extra time were able to put together some absolutely stunning films. Like, they look amazing. Some of them look like Hollywood productions, and it's nuts what you can do in isolation, right?
Absolutely. And one of our rules, and I think it may have been the same thing for the Canadian Isolation Short Film Festival, was you have to shoot it at home. That was our rule. You got to shoot it within the boundaries and all of that. And I think your film's a very fine example of maximizing the potential of a relatively simple setup, which I think obviously you both agree with. And the reveal, and I like the way you marketed your film as well, because Michael sent me the trailer, and it's a real misdirect. And I think we'll include this.
In a world where everyone is staying home, two Asians are going to have a conversation that changes one of their lives forever. Switch. Footage, not an actual film.
And yeah, it was a fun approach, and it has that kind of classic voiceover as well. So
Yeah.
So was that trailer? How did that come about? Was it intended for the festival? How was that worked? Was that produced after or before? How did that work?
The trailer was produced afterwards, actually pretty close to when the festival actually happened, because I saw how everybody else was marketing their films. Like, we had already made a poster, and we're like, okay, I guess we're good. But then everyone had like cool trailers and whatnot. But I was like, okay, I want a trailer, but our film is 2 minutes long, and that's with credits. So I didn't really want to put any of our footage in there because it would give so much away. So I decided, you know what? I mean, this whole filmmaking thing is so fun. I want to go make another. So I messaged him, like, I want to make a trailer, like a fake trailer.
Yeah.
For our film.
I think that's really because of the tone of your film and it being a comedy. I think it worked really, really well. I think if you try and do a fake trailer in a different genre, it'd be extremely difficult to almost justify it. Because in comedy, I accepted that straight away. I thought, because obviously, if you've seen the trailer then the film, I might have thought slightly different of it. But I think you can forgive a lot more with that. But if you try to do that in horror or something a bit more like a drama or something, I don't think it would have worked that way. So yeah. I really like what you did. Yeah,
there were hints. I was trying to drop hints in the trailer of what our film is comedically, only because, like, I don't know if you noticed, but almost all the music in the trailer I did with my voice.
Yeah.
So I was humming in the background. I did, like in trailers have like the dong, the dong. So I was like, well, I don't have access to that kind of sound effects, so I'll just do it with my mouth. Yeah. Oh wait, that's funny. Yeah. Right? So there's all that. Yeah. Or like, if you think about the wording of the backing track of my narration, or even like if you get all the way to the end, me saying, footage, not an actual film.
Yeah.
It's really a serious but a comedic trailer at the same time. It's like a mockery of a
I think it worked really well. Yeah, exactly. Especially the type of voiceover you did. I thought that worked really well. So can you tell me, because this might be relatively simple, because some people have got, I know some people use Blackmagic cameras, they use their iPhones. What did you both shoot on in the end?
Tim, what'd you shoot on?
I shot on iPhone 11, like just using the front-facing camera.
Yeah, and I'm on a Google Pixel 3.
And which of the two of you edited the film together?
I did. I used Adobe Premiere Elements.
Cool, that's very cool. One of the reasons I ask, I know it's relatively simple, is because of other people watching as well, because so many people thinking that haven't made a film in any way or had acting experience will say, oh, how can I do that? Is that something I can do? And absolutely. You look at some of the films people are producing with just mobile phones, and if Steven Soderbergh can make a feature film with Claire Foy about insanity, then anyone can make a feature film with these films.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always believed that storytelling is the key. Now, obviously, if you can't edit it together to be coherent, that's a problem. But it all starts with storytelling. So, Tim and I had a simple story to tell, especially given the setup that we had, the restrictions from this pandemic. So we chose to tell something simple. So that worked to what we didn't have or what we had and didn't have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so when we wrote the script, we made sure that it incorporated what we're capable of because we know our limitations.
Well, that's a beauty. I think that when you work on an indie project or on a tight budget, you're kind of forced to be more creative in what you do. Like you see some filmmakers like John Carpenter, who I'm a huge fan of. He was forced back in the day to really stretch what he had. And then, well, obviously, you know, if you look at his cinematographer for Halloween, Dean Cundey, he's done some of the biggest movies ever, like Jurassic Park. So he had obviously talent around him. He surrounded himself with really solid people, but you just need a really good story. That story's paramount above all else, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like too, like if you give yourself a set of like rules or boundaries, oftentimes people think like, oh, like, you know, I'm stuck with these boundaries. I'm not going to be able to create anything. But if you give yourself only a set of rules, that's where the creative wheels start to turn. Cause you're like, how can I use these to like further expand what I'm, you know, my story. So like your parameters is you only have an iPhone and you can only film inside. So, okay, my wheels are starting to turn. Like what can I film? Like, what can I use? Like, how is this going to go about? Oh, maybe stop motion. I don't know. Maybe like a horror short about like, just a shirt coming alive in my closet, right? Like something like that's when like creative juices start to flow. Whereas like if you have like lots of bigger things to play with, you're like, okay, well, I can do this. Then your mind starts being scattered and it's not as focused as, you know, you would want the piece to be.
Absolutely. And what's more of a boundary than being isolated at home?
Right. Yeah, it's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. So just on that note, how have you guys coped with being isolated at home?
Me for one, kind of like what the film was, Animal Crossing. Like, so like, you know, Animal Crossing became this huge thing where everybody was going on there just to cope, where it's like now my reality is in virtual world. So it's like, let's be able to play outside and let's be able to do stuff outside, but in the game, right? So that kind of was also our premise of our film, where it's like, oh, cool, Animal Crossing, but it's like it's an addicting game. So then Michael came up with the idea, oh, like I have to hide from my wife to play this game and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, that's actually funny. Like I share the Switch with my girlfriend, and so sometimes I want to play and I want to hog the game, and I'm like okay, like what's the bet, you know, like I guess I'll hide and I'll play the game for a little bit or something like that. So
Absolutely.
That's how I've been coping. And another thing is just trying to learn new skills. Honestly, started baking bread.
There's so many bakers now. It's great.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
that's amazing. How about you, Michael?
Well, I've been keeping busy. Outside of filmmaking, I've also been doing play readings with a group of friends. We meet up once a week on Zoom and we read various plays. I've got to spend a lot more time with my wife and my 2-year-old, and it's been nice, you know, like you really get to appreciate a little bit the staying home part of things, just because, like, you know, I work a lot and I don't get to spend as much time, especially with my daughter, as I want to. But now I'm basically here with her all the time, and so it's been an absolute pleasure in that way. I also have a podcast called Talking with Our Mouths Full. My partner, Nightingale Nguyen, and I, we've been spending a lot of time just putting together new episodes. So, you know, figuring out, because we introduce food in and around Toronto for people to eat. And so we've been compiling a list of places we want to get takeout from. And then,
this is great. I love that.
Yeah. And then we've been contacting all the people that we want to interview. Actually, Timothy was in a recent episode himself. We interviewed him. So, but yeah, we've been spending a lot of time just planning and then recording episodes for our podcast as well. So just keeping busy, I think, is
it's important. It's very important.
Yeah, to keep sane. But also, like, I don't actually live in Toronto. I live a little north of Toronto in a town called Richmond Hill. So our streets are not as packed as in Toronto. So it's nice that my family, we get to go out, go outside for a walk every day. And, whenever there's someone on the sidewalk, someone will go over to the other sidewalk and everything's good with social distancing. So there's that too.
Do you still, because I work at home, I work as a videographer for a company, but that role has changed completely now, which thankfully I'm still working at this point. But I've also got the festival, so I'm in this room. I'm in the house all the time now, which is it's my own making. I'm not going to complain about it because I get to speak to wonderful people like yourselves. But do you guys still get the feeling when you go out? It's so surreal, isn't it? It doesn't feel real going out sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But I think I'm sort of kind of used to the whole staying at home type of thing, because for me, if I'm not at my part-time job, I'm at home looking after my dog, and then if I'm not at an audition, I'm at home. But yeah, going out definitely, like now, especially because like you see less cars, and you see especially in my neighborhood, like there's a lot of cars that drive by all the time, and like all of a sudden it just kind of becomes this like one car drives by, two cars drive by, and like that's it. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of deserted. And then I see on the news like, oh, Toronto is like empty streets, and I was like, oh yeah, this actually does kind of look like an apocalypse in some sense. But it doesn't feel as different to me. But when I do go for walks, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this I can see subtle differences. But
yeah,
for me, the most surreal it gets is because I live actually close to a movie theater, and man, that parking lot is just dead, right? It's empty. And I actually used that parking lot in one of my shots in the trailer because of how surreal it looked. I was like, wow, I got to get a shot there. And so yeah, like part of the walk that my family takes goes by the movie theater every time, and just it's a little surreal. But the rest of the walk is the same as normal. We go for walks.
Yeah, my when I was first kind of sent home, and you got to work from home and all of that, my emotions were literally all over the place because I was so used to being surrounded by people at work, and you have these micro conversations with people, and now you have to schedule everything. So it's absolutely manic, and you're exhausted at the end of the week. And I chose today to stop drinking caffeine.
Oh, no.
And now I feel I'm genuinely like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm waiting for those headaches to start. Those headaches. So, oh my God, it's
the withdrawals. Yeah.
I know. So that's going to be interesting.
Well, good luck.
I know. So how long did it take you guys to put the film together and from script to finish, basically?
I'm trying to remember here. The script was actually a lot faster to write than I thought it would be. I think it took us a day to write the script.
A day. Yeah.
Like a couple of Facebook Messenger conversations and we had a script. The filming was a little longer only because we filmed obviously separately. So, I think Tim, you did it the next day, and then I did it the day after.
Also, you didn't actually film it live because the flow of the thing that you guys did really well, and especially in the editing, is the flow of the conversation. So you weren't talking to each other.
We did do a rehearsal over
like video chat. So we did kind of do a rehearsal just to have like that feel of like how's the conversation gonna go. Okay, we got it down, and then so I was like, okay, I remember how that conversation went. Let me just try to film it and stuff. And of course, at home you can do as many however many takes you want.
Absolutely.
So for me it was just kind of like Michael was like, okay, I wrote the script. I'm like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow because I have all the time in the world. So why not? I'm at home tomorrow anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Right? I was like, you know what? Like, why not? I just get this done and over with, and then there'll be more time. Like if Michael was like, hey, I'm missing something from you, can you go back? I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's try to do this, right?
Mhm.
So I was trying to get it done in an earlier time frame, so that there is more room to, like, if Michael needed something more, I could be like, yeah, I'll do that right away. Or like if there was something screwy with the video, I'll be like, okay, let me try to do it again and send you some material.
I think you did really well, because it flows really, really well. And do you ever see this in TV or film where it's possibly, I don't think it's the acting, I think it's the editing, where you can see the actor ready to give his lines almost.
Yes.
So when you see that, it's like, oh right, you kind of is that the same dog that's in the picture in the background?
Yeah, that's
fantastic. Yeah, we're looking to get a dog at the moment, so that's going to be really fun. So yeah, I think you did a really sterling job with that. I think especially the reveal of the Switch itself, because so many people I know have Switches, have Animal Crossing, and it's going to appeal to so many people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, you want to tell people about it, but like you said about the footage, you'd ruin it straight away.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the wide shot of you in your underwear with the toilet rolls and all that. I thought it was class, absolute, because you see so many scenes like in shows where someone's on the toilet and they don't have their underwear off. I know that sounds ridiculous, but anyway, I've been watching too much Ally McBeal with my missus. So that's about.
That shot, I actually came up with it kind of last minute. Just like I knew I wanted to be on the toilet. I knew I wanted kind of a wide shot of me on a toilet. Then, like, while I was setting up the shot, I was like, ooh, I should grab all the toilet paper we have in the house just to make me look like a hoarder. And like, should I have my pants down? Am I willing to go that far? You know what? Screw it. Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. It worked really well. I think it'd be really quite a different scene almost, and I think the comedic value in that shot really, really works. So it was definitely worth having your pants off. I think that's going to be the title of the episode. Definitely worth having your pants off.
Yes.
So I think sadly I've got some sort of 6.5 minute warning from Zoom. Yeah, they've got some sort of limit sometimes, and most of the time, because we're doing so many episodes, they say, oh yeah, you get a free no limit day today. So we've got a bit of a limit. So I want to let you know where we're up to. We've got one absolutely massive judge. I mean, really massive. And I'm so surprised. It was through, this is a little secret, through a drunken message at 2:00 in the morning on Saturday, Sunday this weekend. We got a music video director and cinematographer who has got over about 5 billion views on YouTube on his content.
Wow.
So he's judging the cinematography award.
Wow.
And he's done Guns N' Roses, Alice Cooper, he's Garth Brooks, all sorts. So he's judging one of our awards. And
wow.
I know. Obviously, that was just extremely lucky. And we we recorded a podcast as well with him, and he was talking about, he worked on the restoration of Jaws and the restoration of Dracula 1931. So I was kind of overpowered by it, but I'd love the conversation with him, like with you guys. And we're trying to, that's going to be our standout judge. And then we're going to have a few categories. And
oh, wow.
Yours will fall nicely into a few of them, you see. So I think you did a really sterling job with your film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to show you 5 minutes. Right? I'm going to show you one of the other films. So we've got, I think it's 86 films in total, something like that now. I think we may have even just received another one now. So they're dropping in. It's like bird poo on a car. You don't see it happening, but then it happens, you know.
Yeah.
And too much on my car anyway. So let me find something on here. Where are we? The one thing I would kind of warn myself in 7 weeks ago is how much admin there is to do.
Yeah.
You don't believe, because you want to engage with everyone, and you don't just want to have a generic message sent to everyone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so There's kind of a go-to. There's kind of a go-to animation. There's no favoritism when it comes to the films. We've got a really fair judging system with our films and all of that. But so this is an animation from someone called Rita Cruz. And I was kind of like this. The funny thing is, because of the different time zones, we're receiving films like during the day, 3 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing. So I received this at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I watched it, and I was like, I woke my missus up saying, "You've got to watch this." So I'll show you guys now. It might be a bit jarring, but I'll send you a private link as well.
You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.
That was beautiful.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like, it looks like
I'm guessing she painted all of it, right?
That's the reason I'm trying to get speak to as many people as possible, because I want to find out even if it's a simple process shot on an iPhone, I want to know how they made it, and something like that. I want to know, how did you animate it?
Yeah, that was stunning. That was absolutely stunning.
So we thought, we're going to get 1 or 2 for horror, 1 or 2 for this. We've had quite a really, really good selection, and I'm really happy that you guys have kind of come on board with your film. And I think it was, I think it was initially, I don't know if I approached you to send your film to us, or you heard about us. But
we heard about you and then submitted.
When I saw your poster, I thought that looks really fun. So I think that worked really well. Your marketing, it's extremely difficult marketing generally anyway, but I think that worked really well. And more power to you. Oh, one last question for both of you. If you go first, Michael, what kind of thing have you been watching? What's your go-to recommendation for people that are watching?
My wife and I have actually been watching a show called Upload.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, that show is just so amazing, and in a way poignant for our time, only because I know, like, the premise is he dies and gets uploaded. It's like the future, right? It's almost like a Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going to have to cut you off there, Michael. I'm so sorry. I really don't.
Upload, I highly recommend it.
And Tim?
Just been escaping with reality TV, specifically Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset. What's on Netflix, Amazon, or?
Yeah, Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Fantastic.
Canadian Netflix. I'm not sure if it's on UK Netflix, but yeah, Selling Sunset reality TV. It's just talking about brokers selling Sunset Boulevard.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, guys. Sorry to cut you off so early.
No problem. Yeah.
All right.
So sadly, this is where we got cut off from Michael and Timothy. But as a little surprise, here's their film, Switch. Enjoy.
Hey, Michael. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just heard you got oranges and wanted to call to see if you had any to spare.
Dude, why are you whispering?
Can you spare some or not?
Yeah, I can spare some.
Cool. So, can I come pick them up now?
Wait, like, now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a sec. Okay, and the gate is open. So I'll just drop it off in front of my house.
Awesome. Coming over now.
Dude, are you playing in your bathroom?
You can tell?
Yeah.
Damn it.
So why are you in your bathroom?
Look, man. Being home all day with a wife and 2 kids, this is the only time I have to play Animal Crossing.
Dude, that is messed up.
You shut up.
Okay. Just come over already. It's raining on the island, so you can fish for that koala camp you've always wanted.
Thanks. I'll,
Honey, where's the switch?
Oh,